please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazim.
Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. With the Oscars coming up and me being a big fan thereof, I thought I would do a quick Oscar roundup video. So I have currently seen pretty much everything. There is one category I won't touch on, and that is the short films. I haven't seen the short films yet. My wife and I are going to be going like the day before or 2 days before the Oscars to watch those. But everything else is pretty much in the can. So I wanted to kind of talk about what's nominated and what are my thoughts on each one. So I think first of all we're going to start kind of at the bottom of my list with some of the technical categories. So I'm going to say what's nominated and then kind of what I think should win versus what should win, or what will win, or what I think will win. Sometimes those are the same, oftentimes they are not. So what I have first is screenplay. First we have original. Best original screenplay nominees are Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. The Fabelmans I'm not going to talk too much about. I didn't like it. I don't particularly like Steven Spielberg as a filmmaker. I know that makes me a heretic. The film just didn't have much real emotion for me. It felt very kind of manufactured filmmaking. It just didn't feel that real. So I believe that Banshees of Inisherin should win. I thought that was really an amazing film. But I think right now on a lot of categories, Everything Everywhere All at Once, rightfully so, has a lot of positive buzz. I like that film a lot. It's very kind of a weird, it's just a weird sci-fi movie with a lot of heart and a lot of interesting things to say. Tar and Triangle of Sadness are both very good films too. But I think that probably, I think that Banshees of Inisherin should win. Everything Everywhere All at Once will win. Next on the list is Best Adapted Screenplay. Under Adapted Screenplay, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, Living, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking. I think this is a tough one. I think probably that All Quiet on the Western Front should win. Excuse me, I think All Quiet on the Western Front will win. I really like Living a lot. I think if you're a big Bill Nighy fan, this is, seeing him in kind of a way you may not have seen him before, with some really, really great acting. Top Gun Maverick was a bad movie. I know a lot of people really like that movie a lot. To me, every time you see that much government and military hardware in a film, you know that means the DoD had significant amounts of input into the finished product. So it came out as government propaganda to me. Not to mention, I just don't think it was a very good story. Women Talking was good. It does have the problem of some adapted screenplays from plays and specifically plays, where it kind of just feels like a play and it doesn't really feel like a movie. And I think Women Talking felt very much like a play and didn't seem to transfer to being a major motion picture as well as it could have been. All Quiet on the Western Front I think will win. I think Living should win. Next, Best Visual Effects. So in this category, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Batman, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and Top Gun Maverick. As you'll find as we get further on in this, I did not like Avatar. I thought it was written very badly. The one thing I guess you kind of have to give it is it did have really, really great special effects. So I think probably it will win. And given the people in this category, I think it probably should win. Even if I didn't think it's a very good movie, technically speaking, it's a really interesting film. Maybe not interesting, very well crafted from a technical perspective, if not remotely well written. Next up is Best Sound. I never have any idea what they're going to do with this category. It's always been kind of a confusing one to me. So in the running, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. I think All Quiet on the Western Front is going to have a good night, and I think this would be a good category for them, so I think it will probably win. I would probably put Elvis in there. Elvis was a movie that I liked a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I think All Quiet will probably win, but I would prefer it if Elvis won. Short film, again, I'm skipping over. I haven't seen all those. I saw one. I saw La Pupille. So I can't really say anything because I've only seen one of those movies in that category. Okay, so animated short, we have The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, The The Flying Sailor, Ice Merchants, My Year of Dicks. An ostrich told me the world is fake, and I think I believe it. They're all kind of fun. I didn't love The Flying Sailor that much. I think that Ice Merchants will probably win. I kind of liked The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse a little bit better. But I think they're all pretty good movies. I won't be really super disappointed. So, yeah, Ice Merchants will, and I think that I liked The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse a little bit better. Production design. So, production design, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Babylon, Elvis, and The Fabelmans. I believe... Well, you know what? I don't know about that. You know, I'm changing my answer on this on the fly. I said originally that I thought Avatar would win this, but I don't think that's true. I think All Quiet on the Western Front is going to win this one. And the one that I would probably give it to is Babylon. Babylon, again, I don't think it was a great movie, but it's really interesting. The production design is great. It's very, very goofy, over the top, and actually a lot of fun. I like that movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I'm going to say that that All Quiet on the Western Front will win, but I would prefer it if Babylon won. Okay, next up is Best Song. So two of the movies on this list I have not seen yet. I probably will see before Oscar time comes around, but given the fact that I don't have to see the whole movie to listen to the song. So Best Song, we had Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Natu Natu from RRR, and This Is the Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. So RRR, I think maybe controversially, didn't really get nominated for much of anything. It didn't even get nominated for Best Foreign Film. And I think it's everything. Everybody says it's really good. The song is great. To be honest, I think it's going to win. It should win, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think Natu Natu from RRR's has a pretty clear path to victory on here. But, you know, I'll talk to you again next week, and maybe I was wrong about a bunch of these. We'll have to see. Okay, original score. So this is another one of those categories where I don't really have a high degree of confidence in my picks on this one, but I'll just kind of say what I think. So we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fabelmans. I don't believe The Fabelmans is going to get out without winning anything on Oscars night. I just don't think it's possible. They got to give Steven Spielberg something. And I think that I would probably give it to All Quiet on the Western Front, but I think probably they'll give this one to Fabelmans. Again, I have kind of a lower threshold of my confidence on this one. Okay, next up is makeup and hair. This is another category that I think could be really, really tough. So we got nominated is All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale. Again, I think All Quiet's gonna have a really good night, and I think it deserves to have a really good night. It's a great movie. I would give it to Elvis. Again, Elvis is a movie that I like I said, I liked a lot more than I thought I was going to, and it looks great. It's a long movie, and Tom Hanks is doing some stuff in that movie that I don't know what he's doing, but it doesn't work for me. But a lot of the other stuff in that movie works really, really well, and I think it looks great. And I think for that reason, the makeup and hair. I mean, the main character, Austin Butler, looks just like him. It's kind of almost spooky at times. So yeah, I believe All Quiet will probably win, but I think that Elvis probably should win. This is probably the toughest category for me because I thought this is Best International Film. These were all really, really good movies. There's not a bad movie in the bunch here. Not even like a mediocre movie. These are all really good movies. So it's All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, EO, and The Quiet Girl. As far as what will win, EO has a lot of buzz, and I think it's has a really good shot at winning it. But I also think that All Quiet on the Western Front is doing well, but I don't think that All Quiet will probably win Best Picture. We'll get that in a minute. And so I think they pretty much have to give, I mean, from their perspective, from the perspective of the voting members, I think they probably feel like they have to give All Quiet Best International Film. So I think it will probably win. Now, as far as my pick, again, there's not even a mediocre movie in this bunch. They're all really, really great. I think I came away maybe the most affected by The Quiet Girl because it is sort of a quiet movie. It's very, very sad. A lot of these movies are very sad. But it's sort of little sad, not big sad. There's not like one big, huge, tragic thing that happens. It's just kind of a generally kind of melancholic movie throughout. And I think that would be my pick. But I really think All Quiet on the Western Front has a real good chance of winning this one. All right, next up we have editing. This is another one. I have a pretty high level of confidence on this one. Again, Everything Everywhere All at Once has been very strong. I should say the nominees in this category are Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. Everything Everywhere All at Once is really just a heck of a show. I mean, there's so much going on. It's goofy and funny and serious and melancholic. It's just all these things, and it looks great. And I think that because of all the stuff they're doing with the editing, I think it has a pretty good lock on this category. Yeah, it's really an amazing. All right, next one. This is another one of those categories where my level of confidence is very, very low. But this is a documentary short, so we have The Elephant Whisperers, Haul Out, How Do You Measure a Year, The Martha Mitchell Effect, and Stranger at the Gate. Stranger at the Gate has some level of controversy surrounding it. It's about a person who was basically a right-wing borderline terrorist who went into a mosque, and they can sort of won him over by being really good people, and he ended up converting to Islam. But I think some people are kind of mad about the fact that the guy was kind of a bad guy. But I don't know. It's even that, considering that it wouldn't be on my list for my number one. The Martha Mitchell Effect was kind of fun, but I don't know if it was super heavy. So really, it is between Elephant Whisperers, Haul Out, and How Do You Measure a Year. Honestly, really just between Elephant Whisperers and Haul Out. I picked the Elephant Whisperers. I can't tell you why. The Haul Out is very, very good too. Those, I think, Elephant Whisperers you can watch on Netflix, and Haul Out I think is just on the New Yorker's website, or it might be on YouTube, or both. I'd recommend both of them. They're both very good. So I think the Elephant Whisperers should win and will win. So in this case, I think they agree. Okay, out of documentary short, we have Best Documentary, feature-length documentary. So in this case, it is All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, House Made of Splinters, and Navalny. I think it's a pretty strong year. I thought all these documentaries were pretty good. I have been hearing that All the Beauty and the Bloodshed probably has a pretty good chance of winning this. And based on the film and kind of, especially how it ends, so I'm not going to spoil. It's basically about an activist and her experiences with some of her friends having AIDS back in the 1980s, and then in the modern day, her sort of fighting against the Sacklers, the people who kind of created OxyContin and the opioid epidemic. So obviously very, very relevant to today. For me, I really liked All That Breathes. It's just kind of a nice, simple little kind of a movie, and it got me. So for me, in this category, I wish that All That Breathes would win, but I think All the Beauty and the Bloodshed will be the one that takes the statue. Okay, Best Costumes. This is one I'm going out on a limb because it's the movie that is nominated in this category that I think is probably pretty clearly the best, is not nominated for anything else. And to be honest, I don't think is an amazing film. I think it's a good film. So the nominees in Best Costumes is Babylon, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. And my pick is Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It's a fun little romp of a movie, and part of this whole movie is this sort of cleaning lady going to France with some money that she has scrounged together to buy a Christian Dior dress. And as part of that, there is a whole bunch of fashion. It takes place, I think, in the early 1950s. And they recreate this whole Christian Dior line. It's really, really, it's a gorgeous little movie, especially the costumes. And while I like all the other films nominated in this category, I think that this category is sort of meant for movies like Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It's movies that wouldn't be nominated in really any other category for Oscars or anything like that. But I think it really deserves this one. Probably wrong on this. It's probably going to be one of the other movies, but I'm sort of willing this one to win it because I thought it was a lot of fun and it looked great. Okay, Best Cinematography. This we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, False Chronicles of a Handful of Truths, Elvis, Empire of Light, and Tar. Again, pretty good movies across the board. Empire of Light, maybe not as good as some of the other ones, although it is a good-looking movie. Bardo's sort of frustrating. Bardo is one of those movies that's not meant for me. So it's very much kind of about this immigrant's perspective of somebody who was from Mexico, is in a very upper class background, and has come to the United States and is sort of was a journalist and is now a documentary filmmaker, and just kind of what he feels about having that experience, and sort of whether he feels like he's an imposter or feels like he has sort of somehow betrayed the people that still live in Mexico. It's a really interesting movie. I don't know if I loved it. It's a very strange movie. It's Inarritu. And if you like his films in the past, you'll probably like this. If you didn't like his films in the past, then you probably won't like this. In this case, it's tight. I think Elvis definitely has a claim on this, I think. But I think really All Quiet on the Western Front, given all the stuff it had to do and sort of the momentum it has, I think All Quiet on the Western Front should win and will win this. I'm a big fan of that movie. So this is animated films. This is feature-length animated film. So first off, we have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots' Last Wish, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red. I think right off the bat, Sea Beast and Turning Red are good. I don't dislike them as movies, but I also don't think they bring anything particularly special to the table. I think they're both really solid, solid movies that didn't really stick with me that much. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, I liked a little better, but honestly, this is really between Guillermo del Toro and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. I think that right now, probably Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio has the buzz going for it, so I think it probably will win, but I would definitely prefer Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. I thought that movie was just incredibly creative. It looks great. It should definitely win the category, but I think... And by the way, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is really, really well-made movie. It's very interestingly shot. It looks great. I just prefer Marcel the Shell with Shoes On in this category. Okay, Best Director. Well, let's just go through them quickly. So we have Martin McDonagh from Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness. Okay, so again, I've already put my cards on the table at Steven Spielberg. I don't think The Fabelmans really belongs in this category. I think, especially looking at some of the foreign films, and especially when we get into Best Actor, there's a lot of movies that were better directed than The Fabelmans. So that's kind of out right away. Tar was very good. It didn't hit with me as much as it maybe did with some people. I don't exactly know what I would say against it. I didn't dislike the movie at all. I thought it was very good, but I think it wasn't kind of in the same tier as Everything Everywhere at Once and The Banshees of Inisherin. Triangle of Sadness is good. It's sort of one of these horror-ish movies. Whether you consider that a horror movie, I think is sort of up to some interpretation. But I kind of feel like The Menu, which I kind of talked about previously, did basically everything that this movie did and kind of did it better and did it funnier. So if I was going to put one in this category, I would put in The Menu. But ultimately, I think it's going to be either Banshees of Inisherin or Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think Everything Everywhere, these long-titled movies. I think Everything Everywhere All at Once has sort of the buzz and the momentum, and I think it will probably win. But Banshees of Inisherin for me was just an amazing movie. I thought that it's like just a really, really great movie. Very small, but very relevant and very poignant and really well acted and just obviously incredibly well directed. So I would prefer the Banshees of Inisherin, but I think Everything Everywhere will probably get it, and I'm not super mad about that. That's a really good, well-directed movie too. Okay, now we get into supporting actress. So best supporting actress, we have Angela Bassett for Black Panther, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Hsu with also Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is going to be tough. I think they kind of want to give this to Angela Bassett. And she's good. She's good in Black Panther. I'm not saying she isn't. I think Stephanie Hsu had a really tough job in that movie and kind of playing the character she was kind of tasked with playing. I think she did a really, really good job. Jamie Lee Curtis, I believe, won at either SAG or BAFTA or maybe both. I think Angela Bassett probably would be the odds-on favorite at this point. but I would probably pick Stephanie Sue. But I mean, if Angela Bassett wins, there's no bad actresses in this category. I mean, I didn't really mention Carrie Condon in Banshees. I feel like she didn't have as much to do as some of the other actresses did. She was really good in that movie. I mean, everything in that movie is really good. But yeah, for me, Stephanie Sue should win, but I think Angela Bassett probably will win. Okay, best supporting actor. This is one of those ones that I would be. This is not financial advice. I think I'd put money down on this. Maybe my solidest prediction of any of these. So I think for the nominees we have Brendan Gleeson from Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry from Causeway, Judd Hirsch from The Fabelmans, Barry Keogh from Banshees of Inisherin, and Ke Huy Quan from Everything Everywhere All at Once. And Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once is about as close to a lock, I think, as you can get in this category. It's possible that he doesn't win, but I think it's very unlikely, and I think he should win. I think Brendan Gleeson's fantastic. I think Barry Keogh's fantastic. Brian Tyree Henry's really great in Causeway. Judd Hirsch is in The Fabelmans, which is a movie I didn't particularly like. I think he's pretty good in it, but I definitely didn't think it was quite Best Supporting Actor territory. But, that's just me. But I think, Ke Huy Quan, and again, if I'm mispronouncing names, I apologize. I do the best I can. So, Best Actress. This is going to be a tough one, too, I think. So we have Cate Blanchett from Tar, Ana de Armas from Blonde, Andrea Riseborough from To Leslie, Michelle Williams from The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think, again, I really think Everything Everywhere has a lot of momentum right now, and I think Michelle Yeoh is probably your odds-on favorite there, and I think she probably deserves it. The tough one in this category, well, the two tough ones, yet Andrea Riseborough from To Leslie. There was a little bit of controversy about how she got the nomination, and I mean, she's good in that movie. It's one of those movies. It's about sort of the mom who's dealing with drug abuse and all this other stuff, and I feel like I've seen a lot of that stuff before. She's good in it. I don't think she's bad or anything. The movie didn't particularly speak to me, and her in that part didn't particularly speak to me. Again, she's good, just maybe not Best Actress category at this point. And Ana de Armas, it was in the movie Blonde. The movie Blonde was one of the worst movies I've seen last year. I've never seen a movie that was so disrespectful of its subject matter. It's a movie about Marilyn Monroe. I think Ana de Armas is pretty good in that role. I think she's a really good actress, a fantastic actress. But, I mean, there's just so much wrong with that movie in so many ways that I could not, in good conscience, suggest that she get this win. I mean, the real threat here would be to Michelle Yeoh is Cate Blanchett in Tar. Cate Blanchett was really good in that movie, playing sort of like the female Harvey Weinstein, basically, kind of a really bad kind of a character, but who is sort of well respected in the community. I think Michelle Yeoh deserves it and will get it, but Cate Blanchett definitely has a good chance. So Best Actor, as we near the end of our journey here, we have Colin Farrell for Banshees of Inisherin, Austin Butler for Elvis, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nighy for Living. This to me is definitely the toughest category because I think all 5 of those performances are really, really good. Bill Nighy in Living, it's sort of the most British Bill Nighy you'll ever see. He's really great. Colin Farrell playing this kind of a dopey guy who wants his friend back in Banshees. Austin Butler essentially becomes Elvis in Elvis. I think Brendan Fraser is, I'm going to say the weak link, but I don't mean that in the way that it sounds. I think that you have 4 amazing nominees and 1 very good nominee, and he's was a very good actor, but I think the other 4 are just kind of out of this world. But for me, Paul Mescal in After Sun, because it is such a subtle role and such a difficult role to play. That movie, by the way, After Sun's a fantastic, fantastic movie. He would be my choice. I would give it to Paul Mescal. I think probably given the circumstances right now, Brendan Fraser probably will get the Best Actor in this category, or the Best Actor. So I think that's it's not unfortunate. Again, Brendan Fraser's great. I'm not saying anything against him. I'm just saying, given that what we have here, I think Paul Mescal is definitely a good little cut above pretty much everybody else. But finally, of course, we talk about the big one, Best Picture. So for Best Picture this year, we have the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun: Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. So I'm going to kind of go through these one at a time. Avatar: The Way of Water, it doesn't have any business being in this category. And there's so many other, I could name probably 10 other movies that have more call to be in this category than anything else, or than Avatar does. It is a incredibly bloated film. It is written incredibly simplistically. It is a very simple film with simple writing. Tropes are all over the place. Again, I get that it is filmed on special cameras and it's special frame rates and all this other stuff. It's a dull movie. It is a very, very dull movie. Again, no business being. A lot of these films do have a business being in this category, but that's not one of them. Top Gun: Maverick. Again, I sort of mentioned this earlier. It is a film that is basically government propaganda or DoD propaganda. I don't think it's particularly well written. I think the flight scenes look pretty cool. I don't think that makes for Best Picture material. So, and the final one that I will talk shit about is The Fabelmans again. And The Fabelmans not a particularly bad movie or anything. I just think it sort of lacks a little bit of heart and just brings kind of tinny. The emotions don't feel real. They feel kind of manufactured, and it just has kind of a plasticky kind of feel to it. Anyway, now that we've got those out of the way, everything else is really good. I would say that Women Talking, as I said previously, it's good. It's got really, really good actors in it that are acting really well, but it does kind of just feel like a play they filmed. And that's a problem. When you're adapting a play, you really need to make it feel like a movie. And I feel like Women Talking, it didn't really feel like a movie. Triangle of Sadness, again, kind of what I previously said on that one. I think it's a good movie. I would recommend watching it, but I kind of feel like everything that it was doing, the menu kind of did better. Just my own personal opinion. Let's see here. Tar's very good. It's got kind of an interesting little ending. Cate Blanchett's great in it. Really nothing negative to say about the movie. It's not my pick for Best Picture. If it's your pick for Best Picture, then I get it. It's a good movie, and she's great in it. Elvis. I was when I was first reading these Best Picture nominees, I was expecting that Elvis would be right alongside Avatar: Way of Water and Top Gun: Maverick as like this movie has no business being here. And it does. It does have business being here. It's a very well made film. It isn't a traditional biopic, which I think maybe is to its credit actually. For as long as it is, it moves pretty well. It has very good pacing. Again, I have no idea what Tom Hanks was doing in this movie. But if you cut around Tom Hanks, this is a really great movie. But unfortunately, there's so many good movies. I can't cut around Tom Hanks. He's part of that movie, and I think he brings that movie down a notch, which is interesting because it's not something you normally say about Tom Hanks. But in this situation, I think he definitely does. Otherwise, very good movie. So Everything Everywhere All at Once, I've said all this stuff before. I'm kind of probably repeating myself at this point. It's a great movie. It really is a great movie. It's high science fiction. It's talking about some important issues. It's doing it very well. All Quiet on the Western Front, a very, very apt successor to the original. I've told this movie is sort of more based on the book than it is a remake of the original movie. I've not read the book, so I can't tell you what that means exactly, but it's very, very good. Cinematography is great. It looks great. Actors are great. And finally, The Banshees of Inisherin, which is So Banshees of Inisherin would be my pick for Best Picture. I just thought it was great. It's little. The acting's great. The characters feel real. Their disagreement feels real. And so I think it's the Best Picture. That being said, I believe that Everything Everywhere All at Once probably will take Best Picture. So I think Everything will take it, but I think probably Banshees should. So that's my thoughts. Sort of quick run through, or relatively quick run through on the nominees for all the different categories. Again, I did not talk about short films because I've not seen those yet. I'm going to see those in about 4 or 5 days. And I might post something on Twitter or something about which one I think should win. But that being said, I'm going to do something on either Sunday or Monday of next week right after the Oscars and sort of talk about my feelings on who won and how angry I am at Steven Spielberg and James Cameron. That being said, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good drink, and have a good day.
And the Oscar goes to Crash.